вами Нофихейк. Сегодня я буду играть в игру The Stanley Parable. Если честно, я не знаю, что это за игра, я ее спойлеры не смотрел, но прочитал описание. Но не прочитал сюжет и так далее. Так что это для меня что-то новое. И вы слышите вот эти звуки, типа мужчины разговаривают. Это не у меня на заднем фоне, потому что на заднем фоне у меня все нормально. А это именно в игре. Ну да, впрочем, в игре. Ну давайте начинать уже эту чудеснейшую игру. End is never the end. Не сильно английский знаю, но когда конец никогда. Чё-то типа это.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Интересно.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Что? Я вроде бы
And then
понял,
one
но
day,
ничего не
something
понял.
very peculiar happened.
Описание
Something that would
оправдывает эту
forever
игру.
change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for...
Ладно, давайте пропустим. Думаю, сюжет всем, наверное, известен. Опачки. Опачки. Так. Ой. Так. Прыгать нельзя, ничего нельзя делать. Может, можно в компе посидеть? Давайте посидим. 8, 5, что? Я не знаю, что это значит. Я вроде бы понял, но ничего не понял. Ладно.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Ну все,
Stanley
такое
decided to go to
резко.
the meeting
О,
room. Perhaps he had simply
садиться
missed a
можно,
memo.
ребятки, садиться можно. Так, а закрывать дверь нельзя. Я вообще не могу ни с чем. А, нет, могу. Закрыто.
Stanley went around
Было
touching
мое окно.
every little thing in the office,
Молодец.
but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Пожалуйста, помолчите, молодой мужчина, который говорит на заднем фоне. Я пытаюсь разобраться во всем этом. Что тут да как. Как-то тут быстро слишком Стэнли ходит. Он, наверное, флешем был.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Что вы сделали? Так, выбрать дверь. Ну, правило майнкрафтера всегда идти налево, и это мне, если честно, помогало, приводило к алмазам и так далее, так что давайте пойдем. Надеюсь, это не хоррор, потому что я реально не знаю, что это за игра, инди-хоррор, еще что-нибудь. Так. Это мне не нравится.
Yet there was not a single person
Да не,
here
вроде добрая
either.
игра.
Feeling a wave of
просто реально не
disbelief,
читал
Stanley
ничего.
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Что? Ага. Походу я студент. Да. Ой.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he
Я
turned
тебе
around
подберу
and got
что-нибудь. Не
back on
хочется
track.
что-нибудь подобрать. Не страшно. Вдруг.
Coming to a staircase,
Так,
Stanley
куда я
walked
пойду?
upstairs to his boss's
Наверх или
office.
вниз? Наверх. Ой, диск нечаянно нажал. Пойду наверх. Что внизу кто-то, наверное, есть. Интересная местность. Закрыто. Уверен, нам придется, мне, вернее, придется вернуться назад.
Stepping into his manager's office,
Что вы
Stanley was
сделали
once
со
again
мной? Они
stunned
меня
to
закрыли.
discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible
Только,
truth that his boss had been keeping
нет,
from
я
him. And so the
ненавижу
boss had
головоломки, их
assigned it
решать
an
не
extra
умею.
secret pin number, 2845. But of
Святой
course,
котенок,
Stanley
что ж мне
couldn't
теперь делать?
possibly
Я
have known
загадки не
this.
умею решать. Ладно, давайте попробуем решить. Так, 0. Интересно. Ну, знаете, в таком порядке расположены. Это... Так, подойди. Косинус корня,
Stanley just sat around
расположенный
twiddling
по
his
оси. Да
thumbs.
помолчи, задний
Trying to
фон.
input anything on the device was
Дайте микрофон,
useless,
пожалуйста,
since he
не
could
скажи,
never
что он
possibly know
замолчал.
that the combination
Тут
was
цифра 3.
2845.
Двери две. Ну, типа, вот. Она не открывается. На ней шарика 2.
2845.
2845. А, он мне сам подсказал. 2, 8. Стоп, я забыл. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
А, ну спасибо, конечно. Нет, стоп, скажи еще раз пароль, пожалуйста. Да нет. Ой. Пошлите вниз. Интересно реально сюжет. Все вроде бы понятно, но непонятно. Загрузка. Короче, бешеная игра. Интересно реально, что тут происходит, я не понимаю. Если бы я знал английский, ладно, но...
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
И что вы мне этим хотите сказать? Вы хотите что-то этим сказать?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door
Min
that read
control
Mind
faculty.
Control Facility.
Выход или... Ничего себе. Нет, туда я точно не пойду. Min Control. Escape. Min Control. Пипец. Как понимаю, тут несколько концовок есть. Блин. Ну, давайте попробуем выход, что ли. Нас тут не закроют.
Although this passageway had the word escape written
Нет,
on
это
it, the
бесполезно.
truth was that at the... But of course, Stanley thought better of
Да
it,
все,
and
помолчи, я знаю,
realized
что
he
ты не
simply
выбраться.
had
Я
too
это уже
much to
учел.
live for.
Закрывай двери. Спасибо. Ой. Ё-моё.
The lights rose on an
Свет!
enormous room packed
Вау!
with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Я выйду отсюда. Потому что Escape там бесконечные двери. И я не хочу возвращаться обратно. Не.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each
хотя бы не
bore the
темно,
number
хотя бы
of an
свет есть.
employee in the building.
О,
Stanley's
ничего
co-workers.
себе!
The lives of so many individuals reduced to
Ого.
images on a
Что
screen.
это?
And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where
Не уверен,
freedom
где тут
meant
есть пасхалка,
nothing.
типа кто-то сейчас будет проходить тут. Уверен. Опять я на эту кнопку привычки нажимаю. Так. Подняться вверх.
This
Fire it.
mind control
Огонь.
facility, it was
Горит.
too horrible
Что
to
горит?
believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Опа.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job?
Ура!
That his emotions
Спасите
had
меня
been
отсюда.
manipulated to accept it blindly?
Сиреноголовый, что ли? Ладно. Давай, поднимай.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Что-то меня это уже напрягать
But here was
начинает,
the
если
proof.
честно.
The heart of the operation.
Открытое
Controls
пространство.
labeled with
Стоп.
emotions. Happy or
Типа тут от
sad
кого-то
or
можно
content.
убегать?
Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and
Домой,
commanded
пожалуйста,
from
я
this
хочу
very
домой.
place. And as the cold reality of his
На кнопочку.
past began to sink in,
Нажать.
Stanley decided that this machinery would
Я знаю,
never
что ты
again
Стэнли.
exert its terrible power over
Выключить
another
компьютер.
human life. For
Это вредно.
he would dismantle
В
the
этом случае,
controls
потому что я не
once
знаю, что тут
and
происходит.
for
Меня держат в
all.
заложниках. Офигеть. Опа, кнопочка. Нажать. Это не кнопка вообще, это лава. Окей. 5 рублей. Так. 0521. 0521. 0521. 0521. Все, я запомнил. Это не зря. Я прям чувствую это. 0.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Я как всегда что-то сломал.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls
системная
off
батарея.
and leave.
Включить, выключить. Я включил ее, и она взорвалась.
You're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna
Что это значит? Что со мной произойдет? Взорвется, что ли, все?
I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
Да помолчи, дядя, дай мне сосредоточиться. Интересно, что будет, если типа взорвется? Что тут вообще происходит? Это стоит лайка. Точно стоит лайка.
Go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Стоп. Когда я смотрю на время, оно идет.
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Нет, показалось.
Or did you just assume
Мне его
when you saw
добавили?
that timer
А,
that
стоп,
something
да.
in this room was
Да, это
capable of
времени
turning it
что-то
off?
добавило. Так,
I mean,
давайте
look
еще
at
раз.
you, running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons,
Ну, я добавил себе
these
времени.
colored ones, or maybe this big red button.
Ух, надо
or
на
this
все покликать,
door.
покликать.
Everything,
Выключи
anything,
систему.
something here will save me.
Что это?
Why would
Я
you
у себя
think that,
время
Stanley?
отобрал.
That this video game can be beaten? One
Так, я
soul?
не хочу гейм-овер.
Do
Я
you
так
have
много
any
прошел.
idea what your purpose in this place is?
У меня курсор исчез. Че ты ржешь? Отдай курсор.
You're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you.
Если он
That
ржет
timer
над
isn't a
тем,
catalyst to
что
keep the
его
action
лаборатория
moving
взорвется,
along.
за
It's
которую
just
он чуть ли
seconds
не
ticking
катал.
away to your
Я
death.
сожалею.
You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you
Покурите
for
повар?
every moment that you're
А, точно,
powerless.
это та дверь.
To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a
Разблокируй.
tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds
Это же
you
не
have
с
left to
авторским
struggle.
правами.
30 seconds until a big boom and
А
then
лаборатория сейчас взорвется.
just you being blown to pieces.
Goodbye,
Will you cling
Employee.
desperately to
Нет,
your
какой
fair
goodbye,
life? Or will
Employee?
you let
Это
it
ты
go
должен...
peacefully?
Это я должен
Have a
говорить.
choice. Make it count. or don't.
Всё
It's all the
трясётся.
same to me, all a part of the joke.
Там уже что-то под
And
землей
believe me, I
вылезает,
will be
походу.
laughing at
Стоп.
every second of your inevitable
Зачем?
flight from the moment
Что он
we fade
сделал?
in until the moment I
Выход.
say,
Нет,
"Happily
это
ever
мой
after."
был выход. Ладно, что, я еще живой. Все, меня вырубило. Пока-пока, создатель карты. Ну, не карты, а лаборатории, потому что он ее взорвал. Хе-хе. Так, ну сейчас что-то должно произойти или все? Стоп, что? Ну не, это как в одном фильме, там тоже, когда
All of his co-workers were gone.
женщина умерла.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to
Когда она
go to the
умерла,
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
когда
missed
она
a memo.
умирает, короче, типа, ну она возрождается заново. Там еще какая-то кукла с ножом была, я не помню. Не Чаки, кукла.
When
Ну,
Stanley
ну,
came to a
многие
set of
помнят.
two open
Ладно,
doors,
направо.
he entered. This
Туда
was
я не
not the
хочу
correct
идти.
way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
дичь.
well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to
Стоп, это не
admire it.
одни и те же двери, случайно.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring.
Газировочка.
It had really been worth the detour after all,
Дайте
just to spend a
газировочку.
few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed. But eager to get back to business,
Вроде мне
Stanley took
понятно,
the
нужно
first
типа
open door on
нажимать на
his left.
кнопки. Это было открыто, но непонятно. Стул. Не, извините, я не хочу. Все, бай-бай. Закрой двери
Stanley
быстрее.
was so
Всё,
bad
спасибо.
at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
А4. Да, спасибо. Вау. Осторожно. Я могу Да, я могу спрыгнуть. Я не хочу спрыгнуть.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Прыжок
I'm
не
not your
работает.
enemy, really, I'm not.
Да,
I
не
realize that
работает.
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the
Чтобы я
story
могу
has
туда
been about
подопрыгнуть.
nothing but you
Но я не
all
хочу.
this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
А2.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Да, спасибо, что подвезли.
This is it,
14
Stanley.
рублей вам
Your
не дам. До
chance to
свидания.
redeem
Так, что
yourself,
это такое у нас?
to put your work
Опять эти
aside,
двери
to let
закрываются
her
на меня.
back into your life. She's
Что это?
been waiting.
А!
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to
Я
do this.
ненавижу этот цвет. Ой. Алло. Извините, ваша трубка горит. Ой.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the
Стой.
oven.
Это сцена из звонка или...
Okay, there we go.
Нет.
All right, now, I
Нет,
want
нет,
you to
нет,
come
нет,
in
я
and
не
tell
хочу
me
с
all
Кадимиром,
about
пожалуйста.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a
Двигаться.
loving wife who
Стоп,
want
я
to commit their
сдвигаюсь.
life to you? I'm
Я
trying to make a
сдвигаюсь.
point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get
Я
you to
смогу.
see something.
Я-
Come inside.
Я
Let me show you
двигаюсь.
what's really going on here.
Так, надо уходить. А! Что? А! Да что это
This
такое?
is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Это пластик. Доброе
Stanley is quite a
утро.
boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him.
Что
And
нажать?
every
Куда
button
нажать
that he
надо?
pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Я за ней слежу. Пожалуйста, нажмите 6.
But in his
Okay.
mind, he can go on fantastic
Только
adventures.
попробуй двинуться,
From
как
behind his
SCP какой-то
desk,
там,
Stanley
140 с чем-то,
dreamed
я не
of wild
помню.
expeditions
Ну,
into the
когда
unknown,
контакт,
fantastic
ну,
discoveries
взгляд
of new lands.
прерывается, то
It was
типа
wonderful.
шею
And each
сворачивает.
day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of
Смотри в
it would
глаза.
ever happen to him.
В.
And so he
Я должен
began to
держать взгляд
fantasize about his
на
own
клавиатуру,
job.
помню
First, he
наизусть.
imagined that one
Так
day
что
while at
это для
work,
меня не
he
проблема,
stepped
я
up
буду
from his
держать
desk
взгляд
to
на тебе.
realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly
Я
vanished
клавиатуру
off the
наизусть
face of
помню,
the
я на нее не
earth.
смотрю.
The
Так
thought
что я знаю, какие
excited
кнопки
him
нажимать.
terribly.
5.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Каким детям? Каким детям? Ну ладно.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again and then again and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Нет. Да ни за что. Вот этой? Ну ладно.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Интересно, ну ладно.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Пожалуйста, нажмите, чтобы прийти утром на работу.
You see?
Why?
Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Ну, типа, знаете, такая рука, чтобы не задавать вопросов.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him
Хорошо, я
to.
вопросы не
But I
задаю,
don't make the
мне все
rules.
понятно.
I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as
Пипец,
Stanley.
это как
We're
челлендж,
not
не
so
задавать
different, I
вопросов.
suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
Меня убивает телефонная трубка. Интересно. Интересно. And is never the... Понятно, короче, конец. Никогда, конец, никогда. Знаете что? А меня это напрягает. Каждый раз одно и то же. А двери я уже сам должен закрывать. Она за мной не закрывается. Стоп, вдруг тут одна из дверей открылась. Пожалуйста, умрите. Ну, спасибо за пожелание, но извините, мне еще... Я еще долго проживу, мне вот этого всего не надо.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his
Отстань,
left.
дяденька. Я не хочу. Я хочу выйти отсюда на природу. Я знаю, тут, наверное, можно. Стоп. Показалось.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
С
Feeling
каждым
a
разом
wave
все
of
напрягает.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Oh no, not again. I won't be part coming to a staircase. Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Что? Вы этим хотите сказать? Машинка.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
Халява,
He
все, я
considered the
уезжаю.
possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for
1, 2,
that.
4.
And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Exit.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh,
Я не
what a
сдамся.
relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well
Стоп, я
enjoy this while
понял.
I'm still
Это
lucid.
тут типа круги, и я нарезаю кругами тут все. Я понял, это бесполезно, тут не генерируется.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course,
ловушка,
this was
значит.
not a dream. How could it be?
Наверное, надо начать игру сначала, но тут уже все ловушка. Жесть. Это полная жесть.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ну не хоррор, но который пугает, там за компом сидишь, но просто
When
отвечаешь.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was
Stop,
not the
left?
correct way to the meeting room, and
А,
Stanley
left,
knew it
типа он
perfectly
говорит
well.
идти влево.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Я понял. Вот там, где была кнопка, надо выключить систему. Не включить, а выключить. И она тогда...
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under
Да-да,
his
crucial
responsibility? He had never
Там
been
были
trained for
листки,
that.
видели?
No.
Там везде
This couldn't
были
go
листки
anywhere
бумаги.
except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself,
Ну
is
пустите
to wait.
меня, ну
Nothing will hurt me.
пожалуйста.
Nothing will break me. In here I will be happy. Stanley waited.
Да
Hours
выпусти
passed,
меня.
then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer.
Ладно, я вырежу это.
Now it's...
Ой. Короче, он сказал и виткомс, и вот что. Выбежать. Фух.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ё-моё. По-моему, тут их не было. По-моему, тут их... По-моему, тут их и реально не было. Вот этих... Стоять, там что-то написано.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Right, право, left, выйти. Ладно, пофиг.
Yet there was not a single person
Нет,
here
no
either.
tips for an off.
Feeling a wave of
Да-да-да,
disbelief,
видим.
Stanley decided to go up to
Не,
his
вот
boss's
вот
office,
этого вот
hoping he
точно
might
не
find an
было. Вот
answer
это я
there.
прям помню.
Coming to a staircase,
вниз не
Stanley
идем.
walked upstairs
Классики,
to
идем
his
наверх.
boss's office.
Так, ну мы еще туда не шли. Стоять, что тут написано? Экситива басовым. Money in the morning. Money in the evening. Money for boys. Фигня. Я думаю, что-то появится. Ну давайте думать. Унитаз в комнате Money Крипси. А давайте я зачитаю. Money in the morning. Money in the Крипси. Воу. Money in the bed. Короче, российский пранк. О, мы идем на улицу. Нет, стой. Степ. Это бесконечный лифт. Бедная пандочка.
Stepping into his
Давай,
manager's
давай,
office,
Stanley.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet.
Давай,
And so the
говори.
boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number.
Да, секрет.
2845.
Я никому не
But of
скажу.
course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
А, точно, помните, я раньше делал косинус
Stanley
квадрат?
just sat around twiddling his
Ха-ха,
thumbs.
сразу.
Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Стоп, Stanley 4-5.
284. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. Yet incredibly,
Oh!
by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct
Я
code by
гений.
sheer luck.
А как я
Amazing.
это сделал?
He stepped into the newly opened
Он назвал
passageway.
5. Ладно. Ну это не надо свои звуки вот эти пугать меня, я не испугаюсь все равно. Let's go. Так. Сейчас я должен нажать на кнопку Off. Надеюсь, я ее нажму, а не по привычке нажать то, что я уже нажимал. Так, загружайся быстрее. Я сейчас начинаю немного понимать эту игру, кажется.
Stanley walked
вот
straight
эти
ahead through
звуки
the large door that
пускай.
read
Потом
Mind
можно
Control
попробовать. Хотя
Facility.
нет, не надо. Давай.
The
О,
lights
мне
rose
идея.
on an
Включить
enormous
свет.
room packed with television screens. What horrible
screens.
secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Да, реально, описание совпадает. Типа, вроде, ну, понятно,
Now
а
the
вроде
monitors jumped to
непонятно.
life, their
И
true
ты
nature
запутываешься и не
revealed.
понимаешь.
Each bore the number
Это
of an
подтверждает.
employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to
Вот это
images on a
что-то.
screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally
36
monitored in
знакомое
this
число.
place where freedom
Так.
meant nothing.
Да, вроде ничего такого, вот, все. Все в порядке. Смотрите. Всё.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
No.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
No.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
No.
Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad
Здесь
or
сказал
content.
no.
Walking, eating, working.
Значит, no.
All of it monitored and commanded from this very
This
place.
is
And as the cold reality of
нажимаю,
his past began to sink in,
кнеп
Stanley decided that this...
Я так и знал, что так все будет. Так и знал.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Да темно, темно, включи свет.
Yes.
О,
He had
полоска.
won. He had
Yes!
defeated the machine.
Свет.
Unshackled himself from
Шакал.
someone else's command.
Свобода!
Freedom was mere moments away.
Правильно, правильно, молодец,
And yet,
молодец, молодец.
Even as the
Еще
immense
чуть-чуть,
door
еще
slowly
чуть-чуть.
opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange
Свобода,
building
ребят, я
hold?
прошел.
But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to
Радости
him.
полные
For it
штаны.
was not knowledge or even power
Да,
that he had been seeking,
птички,
but happiness.
деревья,
Perhaps
я
his
тут
goal
уже.
had not
Домик,
been to
домик, домик,
understand,
домик.
but to let go.
Быстрее,
No
я
longer
хочу
would anyone tell him where to go, what to do,
гулять.
or how to feel.
Да,
Whatever
ребята,
life
я
he lives,
прошел
it
игру.
will be his. And that
Да,
was
я ее
all he
прошел,
needed to
это
know.
да.
It was
Ты мог
perhaps
подумать, что
the
систему
only
не
thing
нужно
worth
включать, а
knowing.
нужно вырубить.
Stanley stepped through the open door.
Пожалуйста.
Stanley
Ура,
felt the cool
свобода. А
breeze
почему я не
upon
могу
his
ходить
skin,
сам?
the feeling of liberation,
Вау.
the immense possibility
Я
of the
на
new
улице.
path before him.
Я прошел
This was
первый.
exactly the way, right now, that
Прикиньте,
things were
такие
meant to happen.
разбор. Ну, короче, будет
And
меня, а я тупо в
Stanley
коме.
was happy.
Ну, что я и говорил, короче, да. Ну вот, ребятки, такая игра очень интересная. Игра пройдена. Как я угадал, что игра пройдена? Ну, потому что на свободу. Я прошел эту игру. Не знаю как, тут было все непонятно, но теперь я понимаю. Вроде чуть-чуть, если бы я знал английский язык. Не сегодня. Что?
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on
Yes,
your way home
yes,
from work
honey.
today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
Пока. Пока-пока. На самом деле не пока-пока. Ну ладно, я прошел игру, все, я не хочу, все, я не хочу больше играть. Ох. И снова закрыть игру. Ну вот. Честно, мы его отключили. Вот это пошел, вот это я даже не знаю, что это такое. Нажмите на дверь 435 раз. 435 раз. Достижение, это достижение. Преданно сделал. Играйте в Stanley целый вторник. Не, я не хочу так целый день проводить. Лучше в CSGO покачаюсь. Выхождение на скорость. Пройди менее чем за 4 минуты 22 секунды, не считая загрузок. Сходите на улицу, не играйте в The Stanley Parable. Сходите на улицу, погуляйте, типа. Ну, в реальной жизни. Не играйте в The Stanley Parable 5 лет. А что будет, если 5 лет играть? Это достижение получить невозможно. Ладно, ребята, мне игра понравилась. Может, как-нибудь сниму это достижение, как, прохожу. Но, ребят, всем хочу пожелать пока. Всё. Всем удачи и пока. И не забудьте поставить лайк, подписаться на канал. Там есть еще кнопка красная такая. Всем пока.